Welcome to Morning Minutes with Michael Burgio and Mark Novak. Take care of your customer, otherwise someone else will. What do we mean by that, Mark? Like, I think it was probably, well, maybe I'll lead with it, as it was probably the experience I had within the last week at a cafe. So there was a group of 20 of us, and we were going for breakfast. So we went to a cafe shop or a cafe for breakfast. We walked in.
What suburb?
I don't want to, Northern Beaches. We don't want to be,
Give us a suburb.
It was Freshwater. I'll say Freshwater. So it's not like you're doing something that wouldn't be the normal there anyway. So it was quite a large cafe, so plenty of seating. There was ample amount of seating. Let's just say if there was 20 of us, there still would have been 40, 50 seats left over. So it's not like we're taking the whole restaurant. But so as you can imagine,
20 people spending $10, $20.
And the rest, $20, $30
so there's
each.
a $400 ticket just walked in for them pretty much.
Yep. And as you can imagine, as we all wanted to sit together, and the people there were like, no, sorry, we can't put the tables together. They're going to be in their location where they're specifically. And we're like, hang on. So there's a group of 20 of us. We all want to obviously sit together because the tables were set up in like groups of 3 or 4.
Was it a vegan cafe?
No, they had meat because I'd bacon and egg.
So
all the tables were spread, and like, no. So then even we were like, no, that's ridiculous. So we sort of started putting them together, and she goes, no, you can't move the tables. And we're like, why? And she couldn't give an answer. And it's not like, well, I do commercial, so we get the commercial property. So I get not blocking fire exits and all that stuff, but it had nothing to do with it. The tables were already sort of together, but there were chairs in the middle. And it was just based, like half of us just wanted to leave, but we already booked where it was going. But it was one of those things going, put your customer first. If your customers want to sit together to have breakfast and there's 20 of people, like, why is that? That should have just been a no-brainer in my point of view.
And this is a really tough business. I would dare to say, like, fortunately being on the Northern Beaches, dealing with a lot of clients, having that commercial element of our business as well, we get a really good exposure to all businesses. And the common denominator is that hospitality business and that cafe business is the school of hard knocks. If you can make it in that world, you can bloody make it anywhere.
100%. And I suppose I was a little shocked when, like, obviously we're doing a lot of cafe deals, as you said, Mark. And one thing I always hear is like business is tough, economy's not going well. So when you walk into a cafe or a restaurant with a group of 20 and all you want to do is sit together and they basically say no, then you're thinking, fuck, no wonder you're not doing well. Like, any sort of ethos for business is the customer is always right. So I think some people can forget that. Without the customer, you don't get paid. Like, without customers, there is no job for you.
Okay, so what are the common denominators that we would see with businesses that can serve customers better and that don't serve customers better? Obviously, cafes are sort of a bit easier because we're generally, I think people are in cafes a little bit more often than not. It seems to be a cultural thing now where, you will rock in maybe once a day to a cafe, whereas I probably think 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, you sort of wouldn't really go in daily to a cafe. It's a daily exercise for, I think, a lot of people in Sydney and Australia. So we're using that as an example because it's a tough business. So we're using that as an example as well. But
I think we all can relate to it. I think most people are going into a cafe at least daily, as you said. So we'll run with that. So let's see where one's doing well. One thing I saw in Brookvale, for example, Brookvale is going through a big transition, and basically all the banks have left Brookvale Pittwater Road. So we went Brookvale, very transient, but it was very convenient to stop, go to the ATM or pop into the bank. That's what it was known for on Pittwater Road. But all the banks have left. So there are no ATMs on that strip of Pittwater Road. And I kept hearing like even the shop owners just complaining about it. And even myself, when I wanted to stop, I was like, shit, there's nowhere to go. And then I saw a post from a cafe operator who's now, their big promotion was, we now have an ATM in store. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, man, you're just putting your customers first. He obviously has heard the complaints and he's done something about it with getting an ATM in store to help, one, just be more convenient for the customers. It's not like he's getting a percentage from the ATM or anything like that, but it's convenience. He's just thought, how can I help with that with the consumers for the area? And it came to what you said yesterday, Mark, the cafe in your area with, I think, the ferry times with the iPad or something they've got there. What was that example?
So just, you know, I was just saying that, you know, we, like the businesses that I see that are doing well they're never static. They're always like, it's like a boxing fight. And you know how the boxers, they roll with the punches.
Yes.
Like great businesses just roll with the punches. They don't sit there and wonder why. They don't sit there and wonder how. They don't sit there and complain about it. They should do something to fix problems, and then they keep moving forward and rolling with the punches.
Just like Andrew Cole says, here's Mark. Sorry, Andrew Cole just goes, thanks for joining. He goes, this is why people need to adapt rather than just stick with the normal. What people most remember is experiences, not necessarily the product, which goes with what you just said there, Mark, as well.
Well, we're not even talking about food, Michael. Andrew's right.
No.
We're not even talking about the quality of the sausage or the quality of the egg or the bacon or the quality of the coffee. We're just talking about how we were treated. So Andrew's spot on. But this particular one here and the example, this guy's always changing. He's always modifying. He's always improving. It makes me feel like I've improved when I go into his business because I'm like, I get to enjoy it. I think Tesla's an example of that. The Tesla, the car maker. But this guy, he's grabbed an iPad.
Yep.
And he's or whatever it is, and he's actually put it in front of the till. And on the iPad, he's brought up the live times of the ferries.
So not even promoting food, nothing to do with him. Not even saying, buy this, I'm the best. G'day, Luke, good morning.
He's obviously watching the people that are commuting, looking at their watch, saying, is the ferry here? Is the ferry here? Is the ferry here? Asking him, is the ferry here? Is the ferry here? No, the ferry's not here. No, the ferry's not here. Yes, the ferry's coming. So he's actually been really smart. Yes, he's a cafe. Yes, he's selling coffee, but he's put a little ferry iPad down there, all the real times. So I look at the time and I go, I've got plenty of time. The ferry's not coming for 5 minutes. Or
I've got time for a coffee.
For coffee,
I may even get food. It's been delayed. But it comes with
When you compound that, Michael, to hundreds of customers and over a week, thousands of people, and you're incrementally improving their experience by just a little bit, that adds up to a lot.
It does. So let's relate this back to real estate. That's a bit on business as well. But I think a big thing is open homes, where where can an agent have the biggest impact for these little things? I think it could be in open homes is a great example where real estate agents, even like having when you go to
we should tattoo a barcode to people's heads and just bip them when they walk through the door.
Just like scan them. What did Lisa say here? Uber Deliveroo has pushed the level of service expectations to a whole new level. People expect individualization service. Agree. Andrew, my mantra is do nothing and nothing happens. Do something and something happens, and you'll learn from what happens. 100%. And I think we were talking about this the other day, actually, Mark, just with like fit outs and where you have a great business, they do their fit out, but then they don't do anything for 10 years, 15 years, and sort of wonder why their business does not have that transaction. And once again, it doesn't come down to the food. It comes down to you've got to reinvest. And I think who do it well are your franchises, your Domino's, your McDonald's, where every 4 years they're basically saying you've got to rebuild your shop. We need to change this. We need to liven this up, because I think we all know in our local community when a new barbershop opens.
Did you say local? Did you say local community for Luke?
Yeah, probably local.
In your local community. Yeah.
Your local community, where you get that excitement when a new barbershop opens, a new cafe opens, a new restaurant, and you go there and you don't even go there. You don't even know if the food's good, but you still go there. It drives you to go. So I think the people who could have the best impact are those existing operators who have been around for 3, 5, 10 years, who have that established clientele, and then they reinvest in their business, and the vibe just gets so much better. I think Top Barbecue, Mark, the Chinese restaurant down in DY now, great example.
Look, I remember this, and another thing before we go into that, I remember the former CEO of Toyota, Sukamuki. I just made that up, the name.
You make another word up to make me feel more normal.
Yeah, the name, Sukamuki. No, anyway, serious quote from Toyota CEO, gradual improvement is better than delayed perfection. Gradual improvement is better than delayed perfection. And you can look at that with Tesla. You can look at that with McDonald's. You can look at that from a cafe operator. These guys, like what Andrew said, they are not static. They are gradually improving. They're not waiting for perfection.
Because at the end of the,
what was that example you wanted to
Top
talk
Barbecue,
about?
Paul.
Yeah.
Top Barbecue.
He's in DY. So typical Chinese operators will run their business into the ground, but they'll become iconic. They will not change a thing. They will not invest in their product, and they would just keep milking that cow, milking that cow. But not Paul.
Not Paul. So Paul had been in the same shop for about 20 years, down on 828 Pittwater Road, and now he's great business, great food. But then now seeing, and I've always gone there, but I can, as from a consumer point of view, I have so much more excitement now going to his new shop, and it's just, and I can see that. Like yesterday, I went again, and
shredded beef again.
I've had the same food for the past 15 years from Paul.
Shredded beef.
Yeah, shredded beef, special fried rice. So keep it simple, keep it consistent. So I've got.
What's special about the fried rice? Why don't they just call it fried rice?
Oh, because this one's got like eggs in it. It's got bacon. It's very special. Even the green tea is really good.
How's he going? So he was in that same location for 20 years. He's moved to this great new location on the beach. He's gone hard. Bigger shop. Like when you would think after 20 years, you're probably winding it down. You may be going to a smaller shop or reducing the menu. He's doing the opposite. He is bigger shop, better shop, expanding the menu, doing more of a yum cha. It's like he's gotten a second wind. Ocean views, scaling it up. But put it this way, there's no better time for someone to do that is after when they've been doing it for 20 years. And you know what just about to say that.
Got, you know what I mean?
Yes. It's just like
how many
he's just like, now you've just sharpened your blade to as sharp as you can get it, and you've just sharpened it even more. Wow. Now it's good to see you use that blade, buddy.
And double down. Like how many operators do you see that sort of go first time, they think of an idea and then they take the waterfront? Like he has tried and tested the shredded beef for 20 years because I've had it for 15 and it's chopped and changed. And some days I would think there's 3 chefs there, and I've gone there. I think that's why I've gone there quite regularly the last sort of month just to try it. And it has been spot on every time. And I'm just like, you have nailed it. So, and that is so good to see an operator double down, know what works. They haven't like reinvented, you know, when people try and change too much, Mark, or they try and change careers, or they go from making Chinese to Thai, or change agencies. They're in one company and then they need to spice up, and then they go to another one thinking that's a change rather investing in themselves. And I feel like he's done that.
That truly is investing in yourself. Like what he's done is, you know, he hasn't decided to go and buy a garbage truck and drive, or hasn't decided to go. He's what I'm saying is he hasn't changed his core business. He's stuck to his core business, and he's like you've said, doubled down on himself. That's impressive, seeing someone. But these companies, you've said it in one, they've invested it in themselves. But if I'm to go a tier above that, why are they prepared to invest in themselves when the majority of people are not? That's a very interesting question.
Do you think it's they don't see the value in it, Mark, or they don't have the money, or they it's
I know they're very pessimistic. I know they're very doubtful. I don't know why they're doubtful. I don't know why they're pessimistic. But like for a guy like that to triple his rent, put on a bow tie that he didn't wear before, and that is, one would say that's really giving back to the customer as well.
Yeah, and we did a post on it the other day, and how many comments did it get? And it was so well known, but there are so many. I think the point is there are every community, every local shopping precinct has that business there, or multiple. I reckon there's probably a dozen in DY that could do that for that same impact as well.
But these guys are moving mountains shovel by shovel.
Yes.
So when we do a post and it goes spastic on the Chinese restaurant in DY, like this guy has shoveled so much dirt over the last 20 years. All of the people are going, respect to you, respect that they're all paying homage and paying respect to all the hard work he's put in for 20 years. So, and I think that we're talking about what we're talking about today, and constantly improving yourself, and that's the topic. Like I think it's really, really important. But to say it's one thing, to do it's another thing. But to even have that in your thoughts, or in your I don't know if it's a talent. I don't know what brings it on. I know we did a bit of training the other day with Tom Panos, and the conversation there was what's the driver? What's the driver for our Chinese friend in DY to do that? What's the driver for someone like Tesla to do what he's doing? The drive is really important.
100%. And Andrew says, and Dara, good morning. Most small businesses think short-term, not long-term. And I think even a little thing which I really liked was your mate, the Macau guy, Mark, with about the chairs. And this, I think, goes back to investing in yourself and putting the customer first. So if you've got a chair and it may have a scratch on it, it's a lot of people will go, oh, well, it's fine, leave it. And they won't really think of that customer experience, or they think it's only one scratch, then one scratch turns to two scratches. And you actually don't know it's gone too far and it should have been replaced until that customer goes, this chair looks like shit. What is that how they think I should sit on? And then they don't come back, but you never know. But the ethos from your mate was fix it, invest. It's got to be perfect.
The user experience. So one of my good buddies is a CEO of the biggest hotel in the world. I guess it's the biggest hotel. Most money goes through it in the world, in Macau. And the ethos of, we were sitting in the restaurant having dinner, and he's looking over at one of the chairs, and he said, I have one of the problems that he has is his restaurant manager goes, Fred, I got no more chairs. I can't give you any chairs, because there's a guy that turns up in every restaurant, and there's about 15 restaurants in there, 25 restaurants in there. A guy turns up and says, I need your chairs. I need 20 chairs. I don't have 20 chairs. I need your 20 chairs. And the only reason the guy turns up is to take chairs and reupholster them and to repaint them if needed. 20 chairs, every restaurant, once a month. Sorry.
And why is that?
To keep the standard high, to keep the standard 10 out of 10, to keep the experience for people 10 out of 10. And the restaurant manager is saying, Fred, do you reckon you can go down to 10 chairs? Because I can't even find 10 scratched chairs or damaged chairs.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. That's the standard. I want it. Send them in, get them
audio cut out.
Carpet replacement, all that sort of stuff. They just treat it so serious. Probably batteries. Maybe need a battery change.
No, all good. It's just the internet phone stuff. That's why I got the TV in the background. But I think that just goes through obviously it's finding that in, good morning, Jeff. It's finding that act and that thing giving back to the customer in your own business. It could be chairs, could be knives and forks. It could be what you give a customer at the open house, the paperwork. It's the thought, like find that, find that.
Yep. Happy days. Hope we helped everyone today.
Yep, hope we did. This will be podcast, YouTube, everywhere and anywhere. Thanks for joining, and we'll come in live tomorrow every morning.
And just to close up, did you hear about the news about the property market pumping the most? As they've never seen it pumping. The last time it was pumping like this was 1988. The bicentennial, Michael. You'd remember the bicentennial.
I think that's your era.
But the property market, guys, is absolutely bonkers at the moment.
They held interest rates.
They held interest rates.
Yes.
Since 1988, we have not seen the property market prosper like it is now. And I want to talk with you and with a mortgage broker, Mark Conway, about the massive changes that have come through in the last 24, 48 hours to the brokers.
Well, we can do a three-way Zoom, can't we? Can we get him on in the morning? We can do three-way Zoom.
I'm not sharing with you, Michael. I'm not sharing.
Oh, you're a dog.
Yeah, I'm not sharing.
All right, we'll just end this.
That's actually not a bad idea. That's actually not a bad idea. Let's have a go. Let's have a go at doing that. I don't think Mr. Conway's out of bed at this time, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. We may have to find another. We'll wake him up. We'll keep him up.
We'll have to go to his house and wake him up at this time, I reckon. Yeah. But no, it's a big topic. So let's keep an eye on that topic, guys. Coming. There's the most significant, most prolific changes we've seen in the mortgage market are happening as we speak today, yesterday, the day before, and there's some big scary changes coming through, but better for the Australian economy. So stay tuned.
All right, awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mark. Cheers.
See you, legend. Bye-bye.